A 33-year-old woman from Kerala and her toddler daughter were found dead in their apartment in Sharjah's Al Nahada neighborhood on 8th of July. Preliminary reports suggest that the woman allegedly killed the infant before dying by suicide herself. She also reportedly left behind a suicide note posted as a scheduled update on her Facebook profile detailing years of alleged physical abuse, dowry harassment and sexual violence at the hands of her husband and in-laws. An investigation is underway by the Al Buraya police in Sharjah. The purported suicide note names the woman's husband Nitesh, his sister Neetu Beni and their father Mohannan as directly responsible for her death. It has also described a pattern of relentless abuse that began soon after her marriage. It's a case coming to light all the way from UAE, and it concerns a Keralite who has now died by suicide along with her toddler, alleging that she was tortured by her in-laws. Joining us on the show is Advocate Priya Prashant, General Secretary of the BJP Ernakulam District. Thank you very much, Priya Prashant, for taking time out for joining us on the show. As the details of the case emerge now and we look at the Facebook post detailing the harrowing sequence of events through which, in this case, this unfortunate woman and her toddler had to go through, it goes on to suggest that even in countries abroad, such as UAE for that matter, cases of torture and violence are being reported on Indians.
Yes. Actually, for the last 3 months, Kerala has seen a murder like this. In May also, such a murder was happened in Kerala. But now, in the present case, it is well-educated, well-settled. The murder is from the well-settled family. Actually, we can see that even though people are educated or they are well-settled, the issue with respect to the dowry, that is increasingly, the cases are increasingly very much in Kerala. It means that the education and the family background is not a matter to the matrimonial life. Now, what is matter to the matrimonial life is the dowry. Last time in May also, we can see that a toddler was murdered by her mother. That was also the case of a physical harassment for dowry. And after 2 months, we can see another case in which murderer also committed suicide. So it shows that the present social scenario in Kerala or in our India with respect to dowry, it's increasingly, even though we are going forward in all other aspects.
Right. And this is something that one doesn't really expect. Dowry seems to be a problem, but limited to certain sections and certain geographies of North India. But what's now coming to light, and that's also interesting to note as a pattern, and also harrowing to see that it's becoming a reality where a person has to now take their lives because they're being tortured for dowry. Can you confirm in your assessment that there is a rise in number of such cases and dowry in fact is a problem in Kerala?
Yes, we can say for the last 3 years, if you go through the cases registered in Kerala, all the major the woman harassment, that is for the dowry. Because there are so many cases in which what I said earlier, even though the girls are well educated, they are from the well settled family, and they are married to a man, and the man, even though he knows that his wife is a well educated woman, they are harassing that woman for dowry. This case is immensely increasing in Kerala. That is especially in a middle and high income group area.
So, fair to say at this point in time that this is a cultural problem, not limited to one geography in the country, where for some reason, some extremely educated, rich people with enough and more to go about by the way of income also feel that they're entitled to their wives' money and their wives' parents' money.
Yes, the gentlemen here, they feel more comfortable with to live with their wife's money. Because the gold in Kerala, in form of dowry, we are giving the gold to the girls. The parents are giving it as a share or as a gift to the girls. But the husbands or the husband's family, they are accepting it as a dowry, and they just want to maintain their financial status with the use of the dowry what their daughter-in-law brings to them. That is the main scenario. And the main thing is that the lifestyle of Kerala, that is where they, even though they are the middle income groups, they want to live like a high income groups. So with the use of this gold and ornaments and all these things, they want to show the society that they are a very high income group. And most of the in most of the cases, what is happening is that the gentleman who marries a girl, even though he has no job, he just want to start his business with the use of the gold or whatever the amount his wife brings to him. And his family
So
also,
there is a general sense of entitlement that even if you don't have a job and you've not done good enough economically yourself as a person, you marry someone and you force their parents to pay for your business and to pay for your luxuries, because that's what you're entitled to by the virtue of being born as a man.
Yes, yes. That's the thinking of the 50% of the Kerala gentlemen here. And it is not their thinking, even their family also thinks like that. If a gentleman's parents, they are what they are saying the girl's parents that his son is educated, his son is that is your daughter is not enough for him, even though we are going forward with your alliance, we have some other we got some other alliance in which we will get good dowry, but no issue, we are forwarding with you. And after the marriage is solemnized, they just start to harass
then the pressure
that girl.
starts. That is when the pressure starts.
Yeah, but where the pressure starts, they always they are comparing their daughter-in-law with the nearby daughter-in-laws. They will say that no, our neighbor daughter-in-law has got so much gold. She brought so much money, and my son is well educated than the son, and my son got only this much. So the mentality of the parents also, that they are also forcing their son to force their wife to bring more dowry.
Right. So, Priya Prashant, I have to ask you, now that we have understood that there is a pattern here, we do know that dowry related deaths and dowry is banned as a cultural practice in India. Legally, can you try a case if there has been no death reported, only when there's abuse reported, or even if there's no abuse reported, let's say a family stands up and says, we've been asked to give dowry, our daughter is being asked to give dowry. Is there a legal, framework wherein a person can utilize the law and book a case or get some sort of legal remedy?
Yes, our actually Domestic Violence Act is made a big change in the society. Even the women's become very more powerful. If the lady is not available, if the victim is not available, their parents can file a case under the Domestic Violence Act. They can fight for their daughter. They can fight for the daughter's rights. So the legal remedies here.
Priya Prashant, usually the understanding is the only reason that you should be going through the Domestic Violence Act or you should be evoking one is when your daughter is being abused physically. But a lot of people perhaps are not aware that there is more to abuse. It's not just physical.
Actually, the Domestic Violence Act covers not only the physical abuse, it covers the financial abuse, the economic abuse, the mental abuse. All these things are covered by the Domestic Violence Act. It is actually a big, what I can say, it helps the woman who is abused in many ways after their marriage. Even though there was no marital life, a woman who lives with a male, or she shares a household with a family, she can also file a case under the Domestic Violence Act. So the Domestic Violence Act 2005 made a drastic change with respect to the rights of the women who lost their dowry, who lost their shares, whatever their parents given to them at the time of the marriage,
Right.
they can claim it back.
Okay, that's wonderful. Advocate Priya Prashant, thank you very much for taking time out. Thank you for joining us on that very crucial story and for putting it in perspective. Remember, the Domestic Violence Act, as the advocate pointed out, goes beyond the realms of physical abuse. It also talks about financial abuse, economic abuse, and that's a law whose umbrella you can take if you are experiencing any such abuse. But going back to the story, a 32-year-old woman from Kerala, her toddler daughter have now been found dead in Sharjah. And there are reports, preliminary at least, suggesting that the woman killed the infant, then died by suicide. She left a note behind. My colleague Vivek is joining us with more details. Vivek, what does the note really say?
Yes, that's right. The note really says about, the harassment which she has undergone from her husband, from her husband's younger sister, and also her mother-in-law. In that particular letter, she has clearly mentioned about the mental, physical torture she has been going through for the last 4 to 5 months. According to her, Nitish has allegedly been putting pressure on her for a divorce and subjecting her to regular physical and psychological violence. Now, Vipanchika has reportedly confided in her mother multiple times about this abuse, and the suicide note recovered from the apartment named her husband Nitish, his sister Neetu Beni, and their father Mohanan as directly responsible for her death. Now, the lot of comparisons and body shaming that's been made on her, and also a lot of restrictions. And she has not been allowed to speak to her parents. And also, mostly and most shockingly, it was a dowry part, which has been raised by them. They said that the money which has been given is too less, and she has no right to stay with him. And these kind of mental torture has been going on for a very long time. And at one point, Vivanchi has also told her, the worker who had come to her house, domestic help, told her that if at all she receives a divorce letter, the next step is suicide. Now, this is something which she has told her mother and also the domestic work. And what we understand is that on the 6th of July, she got the divorce letter, and on the 8th, she killed her daughter, and then she committed suicide. So a very, very tragic and shocking incident. Remember, this is not the first time that such dowry-related suicide has been happening in Kerala. In 2018-19, there has been a number of such cases that's been reported, and this is one of them. And a lot of people have raised this matter. And now, what has happened here is that the Kollam police has registered a case against Nitish, that's her husband, and his family in connection with the death. Nitish and his family members have been booked under the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961 and Section 85 and 108 of the BNS. Now, this follows a complaint that's been filed by Vipanchika's mother, Shailaja, who alleged that Vipanchika had faced persistent dowry harassment and racial abuse from her husband and in-laws.